taking out of your valuable time on Sunday and participating in the webinar. We welcome Rajesh and we want to have an engaging session. Friends, make sure that your questions are posted in the chat and we'll have a good Q&A session after the session. Over to you, Rajesh. And Reshma, please take care of the session. I'll be there online. Thank you so much, Rajesh.
Sure, thank you. And someone please confirm that you can hear me very well, or if you want to change my or speak a little bit louder, or everything is fine. Okay, I'll take silence as no issue. So yeah, hi everyone. Good morning, because you still have 1 more hour to start your noon. Good morning, and it's pretty much very late night here, but this time suited very well for me to share my insights or share my knowledge with you about career planning in Canada. So I wanted to keep this session as much as interactive as possible. Of course, I know that this is a webinar, so we won't speak much, interact much verbally, but still I wanted to know the crowd in this in this session. So if you have your smartphone, if you are using an iPhone, so you can simply scan this QR code using a camera, or otherwise if you have a QR code, so just join this Slido. So there are 2 to 3 surveys to ask or to know the crowd in between the session. So I'll just give you a minute here so that you will be able to join this slido.com and with this meeting code. And by any chance, because I'm doing it for the first time, so by any chance, if you already see a question, so don't respond to it yet. So in upcoming slides, you will have an opportunity to do so. Meanwhile, I would like to acknowledge that yes, so Kiran and myself both are classmates in undergraduate pharmacy, and not only that, so after that we had a great bonding, and I think it's like 2024, right? So it's been like 2012, more than 12 years, I guess. 2002 to 2024, yeah, 22 years of friendship, yeah. So he was asking me for this, but for some reasons I didn't have an opportunity to spare some time for this session. Okay, I think I will go ahead and start introducing myself. So as I just said, so I'm classmate of him, and you probably know that we both are pharmacists by training. So I've completed my master's of pharmacy in India. And overall, I have 13 years of work experience, and the recent job is I'm working as a senior data team lead in clinical data management at IQVIA Canada. And I would like to say a little bit in depth about my journey to Canada. Like after completing my master's in pharmacology, so my interest was always in research. So with that passion, I joined as an assistant professor so that I could be more close to the research, biomedical research. But for some reason, when I got an opportunity in CDSCO, like Indian Drug Regulatory Authority for Pharmacovigilance, I have joined myself in that Pharmacovigilance program of India. And since then, I worked in both pharmacovigilance as well as data management for almost 8 years in India. And yes, I have mentioned these both under clinical research professional, which will be contradictory to upcoming slides, but I'll explain why. But overall, I had this after 8 years of experience, and the last company I worked in India was Novartis. While I was working in Novartis pharma company, I planned well ahead to move or migrate to Canada, and it took almost 1.5 years starting from planning from starting from planning to land in Canada. And it was not an easy job. And even after getting that, it was very tough phase I had to go through. Like it took almost 8 months for me to get into my first job. There are a lot many challenges in getting a job, even in Canada right now, and also then. It is not so easy, but still, we have to plan accordingly and we have to play accordingly to get our first job. But once you get a first job and you are in the job market, so it is not so difficult to get through, and also it is not so difficult to change the companies also. So which explains that since 2019, like almost like 5 years, I've been in this clinical data management and successfully and continuing my career here in Canada with no much hassles. So the first question lies here. So look at your screen. So you might get this question. So I wanted to know honestly, and not just because this is a Canada session, but I just wanted to know which country you honestly wanted to be settled in at this point in time. And you can enter your free text in that text box, in the box in that Slido website. I'll give a minute so that the responses keep popping up here and I can have a look at it. Yeah, keep entering it so that I can see. Oh, I definitely wish to be more, more interactive, and it seems that there are certain questions or comments in chat, but I wanted you guys to enter it in the Slido so that
బద్ధకంగా ఉంది క్లాస్ ఉంది ఇప్పుడు క్లాస్ ఇంటే వెళ్తున్నా
okay, can somebody mute themselves?
నాలుగు తెస్తాను ఆ రెండు
Rajesh Kumar, please mute the participants. They're talking here. Please mute the participants, Rajesh Kumar, please.
Okay, all right. So I don't want it to waste much time since our intention is to speak more about Canada, even though there's only one active participant. I would definitely love to see more participation in further slides. Let me jump right on to the topic. But before that, I also wanted to start this presentation with a disclaimer that this information provided is only for your to get an idea how things work out here and what is the best practice to get settled well here in Canada. And it is completely and truly based out of my knowledge and experience, but it is not a replacement of any other scenarios or something like that. So it is completely your responsibility as an immigration aspirant to conduct your own research before taking any decision. But we are always here to guide you or help you with our experiences, but you will be the best judge of your situation. And needless to say that we have a lot many options or opportunities open across the globe in various countries, and it is not so different from rest of the world that you have these career options in Canada, like industrial pharmacist, hospital pharmacist, clinical research professional, regulatory affairs, and healthcare IT and data analytics. So I don't need to tell you the complete definitions of each of these because you might be already aware of it. But in further slides, what I'm going to say is what is the minimum requirement for each of these professions and what are the jobs or what are the titles you often hear in each of these sector, and also what is the minimum or average average range, and what are the pros and cons for each of these career options. But again, before that, I also wanted to know the crowd very well. So again, another slide has come. So I wanted to understand if you guys, whoever are present in the webinar, like 33 participants right now, I could see what suits best to your profile. Like if you're fresher or if you have some experience, like 1 to 5 years or more than 5 years. So your time starts now. I'll give 1 more minute to go through this. And I'd definitely like to see more participation in this. Mhm. 3 people, good. 4 participants, very good. Keep it coming, keep it coming. So there is no right or wrong answer, and this is right answer based on your knowledge. So all right, so we can go with what we have right now. Like most of the participants or most of the webinar participants have less than 1 year of work experience. So we will see what it counts. So as we all know that industrial pharmacist, whoever works in wet labs, including the manufacturer and also research labs. So we always tend to think that industrial pharmacist means only the manufacturing and also QC or QA, package, labeling, etc. However, it also counts as per the Canadian immigration definitions. So whoever works in the research facility for the invention of drugs also counts as an industrial pharmacist. And they do have an occupation code as well for immigration, which I don't think we will have enough time to discuss about that in detail. But still, industrial pharmacist is not just manufacturing and QC, QA, and also the research facilities. Minimum qualification required is any degree in pharmacy or science. And most importantly, the benefit is it is not impacted by the market fluctuations. As long as the patients are there, as long as healthcare needs are there across the society, drugs has to be manufactured, pharmaceutical products has to be manufactured. And then as long as that demand is there, so we will always have these jobs. So it is not much impacted by the market fluctuations. On the other side, there are less prospects, which means in terms of money as well as career progression, it is very difficult to get well settled within this profession. But still, somebody, whoever wants to just settle without much stressful about the job security, so this is one among them I can suggest. And as I said, that this is less prospects in cosmopolitan cities, which means in Canada we have Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, Halifax, etc. There are some cosmopolitan cities. Unfortunately, most of these manufacturing industries are established in provinces or cities where government provide incentives, which means there are certain provinces where they speak French as a first language. Like we have a province, Quebec, where most of the pharmaceutical companies and their manufacturing facilities are there. So if anybody wants to work in such provinces, they also should be able to speak in French. That's the mandatory requirement, so that no one will face any challenges in terms of communications. That's a primary key. So that's one of the challenge to work in this industrial pharmacist section. However, the salary range is pretty much decent. So like $25 to $40 per hour. So actually you can count, you can make a note of it, how to calculate per annum package. So usually the work hours for a week is 40, and we have 52 weeks in a year. So it sums up to 2080 hours per annum. So you can make this count later point in time to understand, okay, how much is the annual package, because we count our salaries and our earnings per annum in India. But most of the people here, they discuss based on per hour. And the other one is hospital pharmacist, otherwise called as licensed pharmacist. So we have 3 titles in this hospital pharmacist section. It is not just hospital pharmacist, but also can be called as clinical pharmacist or community pharmacist, something like that. Like if it is set up in hospital, clinic, or in a store, supermarket. So based on that, the title will be there. but overall the title can be called as pharmacist. And minimum qualification required is university degree in pharmacy. So unlike United States and some other Western countries like UK, etc., our bachelor's in pharmacy degree qualification also can be counted to be able to prepare and crack these licensing examination. PharmD is not required, but of course it adds an value because they have their own experience and knowledge to bring it to the forum. Yeah, as I said, it is license required, and as you can see that it's a 4-step process. It is highly paid and regulated profession, and also good chances for permanent residency. Because for any candidate or any person whoever stays in Canada, if they wanted to become permanent resident, I'm speaking about people who starts with another visa and who wanted to become permanent resident eventually. So for such people, the good chances are there based on their professions and experience. And hospital pharmacist is one of the respectable profession here. And under the healthcare professional stream, they may open and they may invite people to become permanent residents. And one more thing I wanted to stress here is about the regulated profession. So regulated profession in the sense, we do have unions for some of the professions, which means job role and also job security is well protected, which means if anyone wants to terminate a person from their profession, they have their own rights to reach out to the unions to be able to compensate well or to be able to get back to the job if a person is not terminated with a reasonable reason. But it also has some of the disadvantages, like the certification process is laborious. I've seen some of the people who cracked in a year and some of the people who took almost 3 years and 4 years and were unable to crack down. So it all completely depends on various factors. I don't want it to stress because it is individual or personal factors as well. So as I said, the completion rate is less. So some of the people, they end up choosing a different line within the same hospital pharmacist role, or maybe a complete different specialty. And salary range it used to be more, very, very well paid, like even more than $100 also, it used to be. I mean, I heard that because when I came here, it is not the case, but still it used to be very highly paid, but because of the demand versus supply, right now the salary range is $40 to $80 per hour. It depends on the experience and also location. And on contrary, so if you are if you are willing to work in remote areas where people are less and also work is less, in fact, but still you will get paid more because the availability of or supply of such pharmacists is also less in that area. So you can get up to more than $100 also in remote areas per hour. And as I just mentioned, that this is a 4-step process, acquiring this licensing. And this licensing is given by Pharmacy Evaluation Board of Canada, PEBC. First step starts with the evaluation of your credentials back home in India. If your curriculum matches to the curriculum within Canada, and there will be an evaluation exam. And after that, qualifying examination will be in 2 parts. Like basically the first part is just like an online test. And the second part, it also comprises of lot many behavioral tests and also some physical interviews, face-to-face interviews. And once a person through all these 4 steps, then they will get this hospital, license or certification as a pharmacist. And as I said, some of the people who are unable to crack this licensed pharmacist, so they choose this pharmacy technician as an option or alternative. So this is also a regulated profession. It is also a good pay. It also has a good pay, but it is not as much as the pharmacists. But in some places, if they do not have these pharmacists, hospital pharmacists or licensed pharmacists available, they can manage those pharmacies, like hospital pharmacists, they can manage with this pharmacy technicians as per the process. I mean, as per the regulations. And as I just mentioned, it is also like university degree in pharmacy is only required, and it also has certification or licensing required, and it's 3 steps. And those 3 steps are, first one is just evaluation of your documents, and it is something different than what the evaluation process for a pharmacist. This is a little bit different. And next one, only one round of qualifying examination, and provincial regulation authority requirements has to be met, which means each province, we call state in India, and here we call them as province. So each province or each state has their own regulatory requirements, and the candidate must meet these requirements before they're able to get a pharmacy technician in such province. And the last one is pharmacy assistant. It is very basic profession, and in fact, we can count it as a normal profession, and I mean, not a professional job. So just like any other can do, like a store assistant or something like that, but this is specifically in pharmacies. So they require a university degree in pharmacy. Like not everyone can join here. Like people from a non-pharmacy or non-life sciences background cannot definitely join as a pharmacy assistant. But still, the pay wise, it is same as what a minimum wage or a minimum the pay they get is a minimum, like what a store assistant or other helper would get. Like it ranges from $15 to $20 per hour. It is pretty much basic. It is a minimum labor wage as per the provincial requirement. And the next one I would like to say about the clinical research professionals. So I categorize those drug safety, pharmacovigilance, and other things under healthcare IT. But the clinical research profession purely into the clinical research, which means they speak with the clinical project managers, patients, investigators, and all such stuff. So basically the titles are clinical research coordinator, clinical research associate, and I did not mention here like clinical trial associate, which means they monitor only, or they help only the clinical project managers in managing the clinical project, like meeting the milestones, logistics support, all such stuff. So they are not completely involved in the protocol setup phase or whatever it is. So they are not subject matter experts, but the project management experts. But still we will get opportunities to join as a clinical trial assistant as well, with the basic knowledge of the clinical research profession. So as other jobs, the minimum qualification required is university degree in pharmacy or any life sciences is also, also works. The desired qualification is postgraduate diploma or master's in clinical research in Canada, not outside, because they feel that the clinical research regulations in Canada is unique in the sense that is specific to the country, and in terms of culture and whatever it is. So they just wanted to, they prefer people who completes their courses, education here in clinical research. But that is not completely mandatory, but it is desired, and it helps a lot. And pros wise, it definitely has good job prospects in terms of monetary benefits. I don't say that clinical research coordinator will have better monetary benefits, but overall, as they go, when they start progressing in their career from clinical research coordinator to CRAs and to clinical project managers and clinical project leads and clinical trial managers, etc. So they definitely get good monetary benefits equivalent to other highly paid pharmacy professional jobs. However, the problems with these CRAs is some of us, we definitely wanted to travel when we are very young, and afterwards we don't want to travel much. So the problem with this is most of the times the CRAs, they have to travel a lot, like more than 50% of travel might be required. And since you move around, and it is unlike in India, so some of the areas they are not well connected with the local transport. So to have the job done very efficiently, a company will give you a car, but you definitely have to have this driver's license. So that's one of the challenge. And salary range for CRCs, it is a little bit better than the basic, like $25 to $30 per hour. But for CRAs, it is very well paid, like $40 to $60 per hour. So I have kept a suggestion here. So whenever you wanted to search for this PG diploma or master's in clinical research courses, choose the college or course which will provide internship opportunities, which means during the course break period, they allow you to join any company as an intern, either paid or unpaid. That comes in two ways. One, colleges allow you to join as an intern. That's completely completely up to you to join as voluntary, or otherwise, they provide. They conduct something like campus selections, where some of the companies will come in and they will interview the candidates for internship opportunities as well. So you can select such colleges or courses which has such kind of internship opportunities in that courses, and then you will be placed in one of the companies. It may be Canadian based or it may be US based as an intern for 3 months or 6 months or something like that. And after completion, based on your performance, you might be assumed a role, a permanent or full-time role within that company itself. And regulatory affairs, and again, they can start with the regulatory affairs associate, and they can progress to manager level, etc. And the minimum qualification required, as usual, it is pharmacy or life sciences. But this is not just a desired qualification. This is strongly desired a PG diploma or master's in regulatory affairs, because the regulatory rules and also the regulatory pattern in each country is different. So most of the countries, they wanted to have a people who has experience in working in North America regulatory environment, or at least they should gain education or knowledge within, specific to this country or region. So this is highly and strongly desired qualification. And again, as I mentioned, choose wisely the colleges or programs which has which offers these internships as part of their curriculum. And it's also one of the well-respected and good job prospects are there. As I mentioned, a specific challenge is to get an education or experience as required. And yeah, finally, we have come to a bigger area, healthcare IT and data analytics. I don't want to spend too many slides. I don't want to make it busy. So I kept it overall here, like healthcare IT and data analytics. Can somebody mute themselves, please? Yeah, okay. So the specialties are health informatics, health information management, drug safety, and pharmacovigilance, clinical data management.
Reshma, please mute the participants who are talking, or remove them from the session, please.
Thank you. Yeah. So this health informatics or health information management. So this health information management, I wanted to stress here. So I have seen some of the PharmD professionals. So they came here and joined this health information management courses because it has high chances to become a permanent resident. And also they definitely will get a government job, because all of the hospitals here, because I never saw any hospital which is privately organized. So primarily this health information management is nothing but electronic health records, management of electronic health records or electronic medical records. Like a patient, if they visit a doctor, and upon completing their counseling or upon completing their visit there, so their medical history and their current condition, everything will be entered in this medical database or electronic health database or electronic medical records database. So with this, their health record ID, if they go to a different hospital and meet a different physician, with that ID itself, they'll get all these details. So it is a regulated profession as well. So definitely a certification is required. after completing a health information management course, it is 2 years in length. So they wanted, I mean, they definitely have to uh, uh, complete their licensing examination as well before they're able to get a job. And drug safety or pharmacovigilance, a most important thing is it's a bilingual requirement is there for drug safety or pharmacovigilance as well. So I wanted to spend a minute here, like, that I mentioned that I had my background in pharmacovigilance as well. So I tried pharmacovigilance jobs also when I started job search here, but it was not very successful because of two reasons. One, most of the pharmaceutical companies, uh, they have a global pharmacovigilance offices in regions like US or Europe or India, or in their head offices. So unfortunately, Canada did not have bigger pharmaceutical companies except one like Apotex, so which is not in a good shape right now. So pharmaceutical companies, they don't have these global operations of pharmacovigilance in Canada. So they do only country operations, which means collection of adverse event reports and processing it locally, and then send it to the global headquarters or global pharmacovigilance centers. So to do that, so they should be able to understand or read the French, read French language also, because here people, they speak and also they write only French. We have such people. So to be able to understand and process such reports, bilingual is a mandatory requirement for most of the companies. But still, I have seen some CROs like Fortria or Covance. So they have their operations here for clinical drug safety, not spontaneous reports, clinical drug safety. So, which will be like a lead level roles or mid senior roles, and not the entry level roles for pharmacovigilance. So it is really, really difficult to get a pharmacovigilance job, and especially in an entry level position, unless you can speak French. So, but still there is, I don't say that it is completely impossible to get a pharmacovigilance position, but still chances are relatively less. And clinical data management, it is really booming. So when I came here, we didn't have much opportunities except the local Canadian companies. But soon now, since most of the clinical data management jobs can be performed remotely or from home, so we are also getting US job opportunities. So US companies, whoever has their footprint also in Canada, they hire people to work from home or work remotely and deal with these clinical data management activities. However, here, and again, a clause or a quote unquote that we don't have entry level, we don't see quite often the entry level roles for clinical data management professional within Canada also. So mostly the lead roles or mid-level roles like associate lead, who will manage the project whenever a study comes in. So they manage the project in terms of milestones, deliverables, everything. So they don't do their day-to-day activities. But in United States, you also have both options, like entry-level opportunities are also there, even though they are relatively less. But overall, here you will have mid-senior level to senior level roles only in Canada for data management. And SaaS, also the same thing, because most of the pharmaceutical companies or CROs, they outsource the entry-level jobs to less expensive countries like India, China, Philippines, etc. So we will have mid-level or senior roles only in all of these sections. So overall, if you are able to crack any mid-level role within Canada for these jobs, so you will get a good monetary benefits, and also career prospects are very well. But right now the market is a little slow, and it is not just for the pharmacy or healthcare professionals. It is across the globe for even IT and everything. So, but I don't think it will be permanent. It will be temporary. So if you're planning for long term, then definitely you can choose Canada also as an option, and healthcare IT as one of the good specialty to choose with. Because of the remote opportunities, it is very comfortable, except this health information management. So actually for the health information management, they can work remotely as well. However, they should be within the province itself, because some of the health databases, it is highly regulated, and also because of the data privacy things, people, they cannot move to a different state and work from there even for a temporary period. The databases will not open. So that is highly regulated. So except professions like that, so most of these healthcare IT jobs can be performed from home. And as I mentioned, less or no travel required, and may also apply for the US opportunities with a valid work permit. And on the other side, so we, as I mentioned, we do have very limited entry-level opportunities. And for some specialties, specific courses are not present, because I have been approached by most of the people. They asked me to switch my career or to start my career in CDM. So what courses I can do? But there is no data management course, clinical data management course. It's actually a hybrid role, hybrid specialization or section. Like you need to have a knowledge about the clinical research and also some of the system knowledge, like an IT guy. So if somebody wants to become a CDM aspirant without any previous experience or education other than the pharmacy, I suggest them to join the clinical research course and also some of the data analytics course in private colleges. Based on the funding sources, you can plan accordingly. But if you can do both, that will really help. Otherwise, some of the companies, they do provide opportunities in data management. Also, if you're doing a master's or PG diploma in clinical research course, so you can select such courses or colleges accordingly, and then eventually you can be placed in the data management. And as I mentioned, Canadian or North American education or experience is strongly preferred if you wanted to apply for any mid-level or senior level job. If you wanted to apply for an entry-level job, they can still take you if you have a basic knowledge or education qualification like MS or PG diploma in clinical research. So I have explained some of the pros, cons, and all of these things, like how things work out here in Canada. So I now wanted you to contribute to the session by placing which one would you like to choose as your career option among these sections. Like as I mentioned, if you wanted to choose data management, pharmacovigilance, CSP, SaaS, everything, it comes under healthcare IT. So your time starts now. I don't know if I said it correctly or not. Let me also try otherwise. Okay, it is not giving results here. Okay. Okay, so that's fine. I don't want to spend much time here. Maybe I did wrong while, oh yeah. So the results are like this, like 75% of the people, they wanted to choose these healthcare IT or data analytics. Yeah, that's good. So I don't know, the one person who wants to do clinical research, that's highly admirable as well, as long as you are willing to travel a lot on company expenses. So I wanted to end my session, like, I mean, not completely end, but I will in the last section, like how you can come to Canada in multiple ways. Of course, the citizenship option 4 is completely the last one. You cannot directly come as a citizen. So you can start either study visa, like as most of the people, whoever are fresh graduates or whoever wants to switch their career, so they can choose appropriate courses or colleges and they can come as a student on study visa. And you might be hearing so many things across the news channel that Canada is stopping international students and lots of stuff that I don't say that is completely false. Some of it is also true. So it doesn't mean that you cannot completely, it doesn't mean that doors are closed for the students. So you have to research the colleges and courses. If they are genuine, you will definitely get a student visa. So that is not a problem. And work visa, there are two types of work visas: closed work permit and open work permit. Closed work permit in the sense they can work only in that company whichever sponsors them. And open work permit means they can do any job anywhere, and there are no restrictions as long as the work permit is valid. Mostly it is either dependents, like whoever comes as a dependent for a student, or a work permit holder, like closed work permit holder, like companies, whoever sends associates or sends people on site, so they will sponsor them, and that will comes under closed work permit. And any dependents joining them, it will comes under open work permit. So it can be either spouse open work permit or post study work permit. After completing the study, they will be able to get this open work permit. And the next one is permanent residency. So I wanted to tell that, I don't wanted to self-post myself, but I came directly as a permanent resident here. Like there are three options, like Canadian experience class, which means after gaining at least 1 year of Canadian experience, you are able to apply through this stream, or a federal skill worker, which means you have only work experience outside of Canada and you don't have any work experience here. So they will consider as a federal skill worker, international federal skill worker, I can say. And the other thing is provincial nomination. Like some of the provinces, based on their labor market assessment, they publish some of the occupations they wanted, and they'll invite such guys to apply for a provincial nomination program. And then provinces or states, what they do, they assess the candidates' eligibility, and then they will give them a nomination, which gives them high points, and then they'll be able to get a permanent residency at the end of the process. So which means whoever falls under less Canadian immigration scores, or the profile is not strong, but the occupation wise is in a highly demand occupation in any province, they have to choose this provincial nomination program. I don't want to give complete details about it because it takes more than an hour or more than whatever it is to give you more information about this. So ultimately, citizenship. So upon completion of the language, eligibility, and physical presence, and also other requirements, so you will be able to get citizenship. But to reach that phase, you definitely should be a permanent resident prior. And I would like to share that I became a Canadian citizen recently, 6 months ago. And now I don't have visa to come to India, so it is still in process. So after this, I have been approached by a couple of folks with some of the questions, and I wanted to put them here and say about it before we go for any specific questions. Like, which college or course is best for study in Canada with good job prospects? So as I have mentioned here, so it completely depends on your choice, which profession you would like to choose. As I could see, most of the people here selected healthcare, IT, or clinical research professionals. So I definitely suggest them to join courses accordingly, like a master's in clinical research or postgraduate diploma in clinical research. However, masters in clinical research people will be able to sponsor their either parents, or also they sponsor their family to join with them here with a work permit or something like that. But anyway, so you also have an opportunity to join a postgraduate diploma course. And as I mentioned, select a college wisely with good professional background, which means that it is not any fake college which gives problems in immigration, etc. So don't just fall in trap of consultancies. Do your own research, even though you are taking help of the consultancies. And the next question I hear most often is, I have work experience in India. May I apply for jobs from here? So it is not only with respect to pharmacy profession. Most of the people, they asked me this question. There is no hard rule in the immigration principles that you should not apply for any job. In fact, some of the software professionals, they used to apply directly from India, and they used to get interviews, and once they select, the companies were sponsoring them. But it is not true right now, because across the globe we are facing a recession. But overall, I say that there is no such I don't say that it is completely impossible, but it is highly, highly, highly unlikely, especially for other professions or non-IT professions. So they definitely mention employees on their job notifications. They definitely mention that you must hold a valid work authorization in Canada to apply for the job. Otherwise, that will not be considered at all. Even if you say that, yes, I have and apply for the job, but at the end, it will be time waste, because they don't consider you even if you have a high grades or high qualifications or high experience, whatever it is, because they don't want it to dwell into that logistics or immigration stuff. So they don't want it to sponsor, in fact. And the other thing I have noticed multiple times in LinkedIn, some of the recruiter, they post that we have positions in Canada if you wanted to apply, or maybe positions in US if you wanted to apply, just to say I'm interested, or just approach me. But I have seen like many people, they just say I'm interested, I'm interested, I'm interested. But that is actually one of the scam. I don't want you to stop to do that if you definitely wanted to, but don't keep any hope on such posts, because most of the people, they wanted to gain an attention in LinkedIn so that their profile will build much better, and also their career will grow. So they post such things, and they ask you to, or they expect you to react to that, so that they'll get good attention in the LinkedIn search. So don't fall into such trap. So if they say something, just do your own research in which company it is or whatever it is. You can reach out to them directly if possible, or like via chat in the LinkedIn, but don't just keep posting them unnecessarily. And this is one other question I have: work experience in India, may I apply for open work permit? Unlike other countries, some of the countries, like in Europe, you have a job seeker visa, but in Canada, we don't have job seeker visa. Including in US, we don't have any job seeker visa, where with a temporary visa, you can come here and search for jobs. And if you gain, then you can, if you got an offer, you can apply for a complete work permit. It is not the case. So only international students, upon completion of their courses, they'll be able to get an open work permit. And if any international students, their dependents also, they can apply for this open work permit. Others, they don't have this opportunity. And the other question is, I'm married and planning to pursue study visa. Can my spouse or dependent work full time? Yes, currently, yes, right now. But soon, I have heard this news, like soon issue of spousal open work permit will be limited only to the international students, whoever are pursuing masters or research courses or professional courses. Like PG diploma courses might not be considered, and maybe professional courses like project management course, etc., they might be considered. But overall, they are trying to set some restrictions on sponsorships as well. And finally, about the permanent residency, I got these questions like, what is the minimum experience required for permanent resident application as a federal skill worker or international federal skill worker? Minimum experience required is only 1 year, but it doesn't mean that you will definitely get with 1 year itself. So there is a lot of things contribute to the immigration points to get this permanent residency. But minimum requirement to become ineligible is 1 year. And I also get some questions like, I have more than 5 years of work experience. Will I get a permanent residency directly from India? I'm one of such example. Like after gaining experience in India, I directly apply for the permanent residency. There is, there is nothing like it is not possible at all. It is still possible. However, these days it become too competitive. because most of the people, they are choosing Canada because of the immigration system. But right now they are making it complicated. That's another story. But still, doors are open, and it is pretty much straightforward process. So most of the people, they choose this Canada as an option. So it is becoming competitive. So current immigration scores are high, and to achieve this feat, we have some challenges, like we need to have these good IELTS scores, and you might want to apply less than when you are less than 30 years of age. And for family applicants also, it is becoming challenging. And if you are only an undergraduate person, so you will get less immigration scores. So you definitely have to have these four things achieved, like good IELTS score, age less than 30 years is needed. And if you are a single applicant, you will get more chances. And if you have postgraduate or multiple qualifications, you will get a good chances. And again, I don't want it to demotivate you. So I wanted to give some tips also to crack this permanent residency, or some suggestions. Like, as I said, masters or pharmacy graduates will definitely get a good scores than undergraduate pharmacy students. However, undergraduate pharmacy students, B.Pharm students, if they get their credential evaluations using PEBC, like Pharmacy Board, instead of other normal education credential system, so you will get scores which is equivalent to Masters or PharmD course. So for pharmacy, we still have good opportunity to get scores, maximum scores for education criteria in the immigration. And all modules in IELTS should be maintained. The scores in all IELTS modules, like listening, I got completely 8, but in the listening it is only 6. So it doesn't work like that. So you will have to have good scores in all modules within the IELTS, and as scores are high, the possibility is also high. And for family applicants, if both write IELTS, then it will contribute to the better scores of the immigration, so they'll get good chances. And also, as I mentioned, some of the provinces, they keep inviting people of different professions, including healthcare professionals. So you keep looking for such provincial nomination program notifications, so you might get an opportunity to apply for that. So basically, these are the frequently asked questions in terms of immigration. So I hope I answered many of those questions. But I have received a couple of questions offline. So Kiran, you want me to go through that?
Yes, sir, please.
Okay, so let me read that question. Like, I got this offline from Kiran. Like, I'm a PharmD aspirant and I had 13 months experience in neurology department. I want to do masters in neurology related courses. Can you please suggest me what are the courses to PharmD processes in abroad? So overall, including in including in US or Canada, so PharmD is actually considered as equivalent to medical. However, still we are not able to treat any patients or something like that. So in pharmaceutical companies, even in the research, so you can um, you can select opportunities equivalent to medical professionals, like medical monitors or drug safety heads or something like that. So you can take some opportunities which accept PharmD also as a qualification in such medical roles. So you can join masters in neurology, like some programs like neuropharmacology, MS pharmacology with neurology specification. So such things, but mostly you will have such courses in universities than in colleges, because those are highly research oriented courses. You can join them, and after completing them, you can choose something or some course with a dissertation or project work. And in that project work, you can choose either you wanted to go to biomedical research, in which you will do a wet lab job, or if you wanted to go for clinical research area, so you can do your dissertation accordingly, so that you can set your stage for the career path, either as a clinical research professional in the neurology specialization or in the biomedical research specialization. But for it, there is nothing specific to the PharmD or B.Pharm. So anyone, whoever has basic undergraduate degree in life sciences or pharmacy, they can definitely get these MS. I mean, they can definitely join these MS in neurology courses. Like we have University of Toronto here and also McGill University in Montreal. I believe they are the best colleges or best universities in Canada. And you can try applying there, but they definitely seek a good profile. Like if you have any research publications already, including for the masters also, they can, I mean, they think if you have good research potential, they'll consider you to take into, I mean, they'll consider you to admit you into that course. And the other question what I have is what options are available for masters after PharmD courses in Canada? So as I mentioned, so mostly I suggest only 3 sets of courses. One is either health information management, which gives you more assurity in the job. If you are not money oriented, like, I mean, if you are okay with a decent job and secure the job, obviously you can try for this health information management. And the second one is clinical research courses, and then you can come into clinical research field or including the data management. And the third one is data analytics and including the project management. But the project management courses, it will help only if you have actually work experience and if you can clear the PMP certification. But overall, I suggest these 3 courses, but do your own research, like masters in clinical research or masters in, I mean, in data analytics, etc. Yeah. So we are 2 minutes over time, but still, I think, I mean, we have joined late to go through, but that's pretty much it. And I think I have done justice to this session. And Kiran, can you let me know if we have any other questions to address, or am I too fast? Okay. So there are certain questions in chat window. Can someone read it for me, please? I say that what is the NOC code for PV in Canada? Yeah, so I mean, these NOC codes keep changing. So if you can select this health information management or health information policy research, health policy researchers also will be more applicable for pharmacovigilance for applying immigration. Yeah, thank you, everyone. I think, yeah, so we are done in terms of time. So if you still have any questions, you can reach out to Reshma or Kiran, and they can direct those questions to me. And I can provide insights based on best of my knowledge. Thank you, everyone.